call it to order. City Clerk.
Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Molly.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Underwood Jacobs. Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here. See, I was born in the Antelope Valley. We say here. We don't do present.
You're over there. You're over there. You're not here. You're over there.
No, you say, I'm here.
We speak English. All right. The invocation is with Pastor. What?
Motion to excuse Underwood Jacobs.
I'll second that.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Pastor Robert Enos of the Greater Works Christian Church will be here.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Father God, I thank you so much for allowing me to be here and bringing each and every one of us here. We ultimately represent you. This city even represents you. Father, we know from Scripture that when the righteous are in control of a city, the people rejoice. And this is why we have a lot of reason to rejoice in this city, because the righteous have taken their stand and been put in the positions that they belong in to rule and run this city in righteousness. And I thank you. I bless your holy name, Father, and I bless each and every one here, our city council, our mayor, vice mayor, everyone in this room, and I ask that you would reveal yourself to them in a powerful, powerful way. Lord, I pray that you would release wisdom into this place. Let nothing be done apart from the wisdom from heaven. Let nothing be done apart from your blessing, and let nothing be done apart from your revelation of your word and the adherence to your word and your righteousness. God, again, I thank you and I praise you for blessing this city, putting me in it, putting us in it. We are truly blessed to be where you are at, Lancaster, California. We lift a standard of righteousness in this place, and we say we will stand for you all the days of our life, and Lancaster belongs to you. We give you praise, we give you honor, we give you glory for everything you're doing here, even today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Raj, you want to do the pledge?
Please put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So you got that? You got... Louis, are you doing the Cappy Awards? Do you need me, or you got it? Okay, great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight we are honored to present to you 2 awards of excellence from the California Association of Public Information Officers that the City of Lancaster recently received. One for the Revive 25 infographic, the second for the Revive 25 A Better Road Ahead promotional video. Capio received a record number of entries this year, so we're very honored to have taken home the top prize in both of these categories. I'd like to give a very special thanks to Katie Byrne, who's here with us today, and also Juan Abad, who's in our communications department. Both played integral roles in putting together both of these marketing pieces. And of course, thank you and the council for all their support and continued support of the Revive 25 program. So with that, we'd love to hand you these.
So did you give Katie a raise?
I'm not in charge of that, but I would if I
I mean,
did.
a pat on the back is nice and all, but
Katie has got 2 promotions in a year, so she's doing okay.
That's okay.
So,
Louis, you gave a speech today at where?
Allen Valley Board of Trade.
Board of Trade?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Went pretty well, I think. What'd you hear?
what, did you feel the love?
That smile says it all, right?
Did you feel the love?
Yeah, I think people are interested. You know how it's hard to make roads exciting, but we're trying, and we're slowly making our way. So.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
very
Katie.
much.
I'd have given you a raise, Katie, but I got outvoted. Okay. Mark. Is anybody Everybody here.
One of the most powerful initiatives that society could do would be to encourage quality and responsible parenthood. It's one of the most important things in life and for the future of our country. We are happy to be joined today by the High Desert Alliance of Black School Educators, if representatives would come up. And as they're coming up, I know that we have some students with their parents of their parent university. And the parent university, I'm going to let Gwen explain a little bit.
Good evening. How you all doing? I don't know where I'm from. We say y'all, so I'm sorry. How you guys doing? Mayor Paris, it's a pleasure and an honor, and thank you for this. I want to give an opportunity to just say what our parent university is all about. I have Superintendent Dr. Mark Marshall here, who has worked with our program. And our program is designed it's called the Parent University Leadership Mentoring Institute. The acronym is PULL ME, because that's exactly what we do. We pull on our parents to do better, to raise their conscience, and do some things that maybe they have not really understood how to do it before. And it's a 3-module. The first one is I Have a Voice. We teach the parents how to have a voice in the schools and work with the schools, because we all have a voice, but sometimes we can't be heard because of the way we use our voice. So that's our second module, which we teach them how to use their voice where they can be heard. And then finally, when they learn their voice, we have an opportunity to have them come. Some of our parents have never been to a city council meeting. Some of them have never met you, Mayor Paris. They certainly haven't met you, Mark, and because of that, we encourage them to come. They're very nervous. Some of them are taking their time to get here, so we'll just take their certificates. But it's not an easy thing for them to come in an environment like this because they have never been in an environment like this. And this is part of their training to understand that this is a very important platform for them to have a voice and to also give input. So we had in Dr. Marshall's district, the first time we've had over 15 parents come to an LCAP meeting, which I don't know if you have all the information on LCAP, but to give some recommendations. And it was the first time they had been to a board meeting and they had a voice there. So we're teaching them how to work with the districts, how to work with the schools, how to work with teachers when they don't quite get along with the teacher, how to have a better voice at that table as opposed to just fighting.
I have a lot of experience in that teacher thing.
You do?
I did. I didn't get along with any of them.
I'm going to enroll you in our program, okay? So very quickly, I want to end with just kind of giving you an overview of the workshop topics that we go over. It's parent empowerment, engagement, and leadership, Common Core and LCAP, parent communication, conflict resolution, anger in the hidden heart, core values, stress and its effects, positive behavior and intervention and support, response to instruction and intervention, special education, and parent networking. So those are some of the topics that our parents have learned over a 12-week program in the district, and maybe Dr. Marshall can tell you the effect it has had in his district so far.
Great job.
Thank you.
I can attest the Having High Diversity program in our district has made a great difference in terms of increasing our parental involvement, our stakeholder participation. All those rates have gone up. And it's good to have, a vehicle to help parents to navigate the system. So I can attest it's a great program, and we're going to continue it in our district.
Great. Thank you.
So with that said, I have my one parent that showed up out of my 7. I appreciate her. I had some texts. They're on their way, but they're just late, so yes.
I'll hang.
Okay, so
Get everybody here. We'll take a break.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Just
Thank
take
you.
a break.
I will. Thank you.
Can we have you take a picture with folks? Can you introduce the one parent that is here?
You got your speech ready? Because we're going to grade it.
My name is Veronica Tate, and the program has really helped us. And for my son, we've really had some issues with him, and she's really helping me with the teachers and the principal to be able to. What word am I looking for?
Talk to them.
That's a good one, to talk to them. And I like it.
Good. Thank you. Okay, let me get a picture. And now we have the Say Something program presentation with Amanda Haas. I thought you moved.
I'm back.
You're back.
Good evening, Mayor Paris, City Council staff, and citizens of Lancaster. My name is Amanda Haas, and some of you may know me. My father-in-law is a business owner in the community, Jim Haas, and I had the good fortune of moving to Lancaster about 5 years ago, and my husband and I lived right down here on Cedar and renovated a house down there. And then we were pulled away from work for another engagement, but now we're back. We're not living in Lancaster, but we're back engaged in the city, and we're really happy to be here, and we're happy to be, I'm happy to be back in this room and with all of you. I was a architecture and design commissioner, and I did a few other things while I was out here. But I'm here tonight to talk about something called Say Something. SAY is an acronym for Suicide Awareness in Youth and Young Adults. And I really want to thank you for the opportunity to address you regarding this issue. And I want to tell you about an opportunity for a new solution for awareness of this issue that we are developing and will implement in Lancaster. A dear family friend of mine, her name is Tiffany Kalig, and she's the co-founder of Say Something, and she was unable to be here tonight. She is Mrs. California, and she is running for Mrs. International, and her platform was suicide awareness in young people, and she's done a lot of grassroots work in that area. And when she came to my father-in-law and asked for a sponsorship for her bid for Mrs. International, in Jim Haas fashion, he didn't just write her a check. He quizzed her and grilled her and found out what her platform was, and he was inspired by it. And we wanted her to do something in our community that was relevant to her platform. And we started making some calls, and we found that there was two things. One was a lack of the type of program that we are trying to implement, and two, a grave need, because everybody that we spoke to had anecdotally been touched by either a youth suicide or a youth suicide attempt. And there's a statistic that suicide is the #2 cause of death in the U.S. for all ages between 10 and 34. And this statistic does not include those individuals who have attempted and failed suicide, nor those who feel such despair that they have considered taking their own life as preferable to enduring the pain of living. So Say Something is a multifaceted program with a unifying underlying concept, which is to use the power of words to save and empower youth and young adults from the ultimate mental health crisis, which is suicide. The Say Something approach is when we see a person in need, we say something kind to them. When we have offered kindness, support, and mental health first aid, and our friend or another person is still in need, is still not well, or any time a person is making threats or in danger, we say something to a mentor, our parents, or another adult we trust. So the foundation of Say Something is an in-school program that has a peer group that is guided by a mentor that is trained by Say Something staff to create awareness of how to handle these situations. I find that if a simple wound is left to fester, it becomes infected and can ultimately result in systemic failure. The same is true for an emotional wound, and that is why mental health first aid is one of the foundations for Say Something. Implemented by peers, This type of care is empowering for the giver and receiver. The second layer of Say Something after awareness is peer-to-peer interaction, which is implemented and influenced by the Say Something peer groups within the schools and other organizations. So as of today, I've met with UAV and Dr. Goki at Learn for Life and Dr. Vieira with the high school district. And we hope to continue our conversations with all of those organizations. But we've actually have a relationship now with Dr. Goki at Learn for Life, where we will be moving forward with this program, hoping to develop the curriculum using an advisory committee and experts over the next several months, implementing the advisor and teacher level of the program in the spring, and then implementing it with the students in the fall. And another tenet of the program, or I guess an underlying concept, is driven by a quote by Mother Teresa. And she says, "I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said that I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there." So this brings us to the meat of the organization. We are individuals brought together in the common purpose of shedding light in the dark place of suicide and the mental health issues that precede it. We work not only to shine the light of knowledge, but to shine a light of understanding and love on those suffering emotionally and contemplating suicide. Finally, we work to model our personal behavior to be kind and uplifting to those around us, so that when suffering people meet us, they are raised up. And since you never know who is suffering, we strive for this all the time. So the idea is that we can't work against suicide. We must fill the space that self-loathing, despair, and poor emotional and mental health currently occupied with something else. And those intangibles are love, hope, and emotional health. The kindness campaign, the simple encouragement of ourselves and others to say kind things to one another, to strive and to make this part of our regular behavior, is a tenet, or I would say, a motivator of the Say Something organization. And I pledge that I am only human and that sometimes I judge, criticize, react hardly, say mean things, and make mistakes. But I pledge to keep my unkind words to myself and to share my critiques and judgments of others with an uninvolved third party that can help me to see where I can make changes to my attitude. And if what I have to say is meant to be hurtful, cruel, or unkind, that I will strive to keep it to myself. # keep it to yourself. And the idea being that you have these peer groups, they have something to say to their peers aside from just warning signs regarding suicide. They have something that they're doing, which is implementing this pledge. That's the goal of the pledge in and of itself. It's as much about actually not participating in those behaviors as it is about and participating in alternate behaviors as it is about the awareness of this mental health crisis. And so thank you so much for listening. I am just here solely to provide an update and some information on our agenda and our cause, and I look forward to meeting you all again soon.
Thank you, Amanda. You know, Marvin, you could take that class.
Just keep it to yourself, Rex.
Amanda, if there's anything we can do to help. Thank you. Can I move new business item 2 up now? Okay, let's do that.
Good evening, Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor Christ, council members. You have before you ordinance number 1013, which would amend the general business license regulations set forth at Chapter 5.04 of the Municipal Code by adding a new section, 5.04.055, entitled Operational Requirements for Certain Types of Businesses. This new section would, in part, prohibit alcoholic beverage establishments from allowing persons to purchase alcoholic beverages for off-site consumption in less than defined minimum volumes or quantities. City public safety personnel and Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies have reported numerous instances of unlawful activities and conditions occurring at and immediately adjacent to alcoholic beverage establishments where purchases are made for off-site consumption. These include loitering, panhandling, excessive noise, public drinking, public urination, littering, and other activities that constitute a public nuisance. These nuisance activities cause a blight on the community and a drain on law enforcement resources. It has been the city's experience that such unlawful nuisance activities are often the result of persons being able to purchase alcoholic beverages intended for off-site consumption in smaller single servings, for example, a single can of beer or a small airplane-sized bottle of distilled spirits. Under the city's existing laws, any new business wanting to sell alcoholic beverages must first obtain a conditional use permit. Alcohol CUPs impose operational requirements on these new establishments, including certain limitations on the sale of single serving sizes. Alcohol establishments in existence and lawfully operating at the time the current law became effective are considered to have a deemed approved status and therefore are exempt from the CUP requirements. However, as Lee will discuss in greater detail, the nuisance activities associated with smaller serving sizes purchased for off-site consumption often occur at these deemed approved alcohol establishments. The proposed operational requirements set forth in this ordinance would be applicable to an off-sale establishment regardless of whether it is deemed approved or operates under a CUP. Certain types of off-sale establishments would be exempted from the ordinance, including those containing public space of 10,000 square feet or larger, and those that hold a large brewery, microbrewery, or winery license from the California Department of Alcoholic Beverages. The city's experience has been that the purchase of beverages from those establishments typically don't result in the kinds of nuisance activities that this ordinance is intended to address. Both the Planning Commission and the Criminal Justice Commission have reviewed and discussed the ordinance and approved to the council for their adoption. Lee's going to go ahead and give you some information, and then we'll be available for questions.
You know, as we look at this process as it relates to limiting certain type of sales and locations, we actually pulled from the alcohol beverage control from the state those locations in the city that currently were grandfathered in and are operating in alcohol beverage off-premise sales without a conditional use permit. And from those, there's 47 of those locations that are located within the city of Lancaster. From that, I took 11 random samples by address of those locations, and that resulted in over 230 calls for service by the Sheriff's Department in a 12-month period. And probably slightly over 70% of those calls were related to single sales of alcohol that was being consumed on premise or nearby the premise, where they required a response from the Sheriff's Department. So if you put that back to a resource management issue, the average call was 15, 20 minutes per the handle, and that's not counting if there's an arrest or booking or anything associated with that. Our contract rate's about $2.12 per minute, okay? And that's if a single deputy went to that location, which is not commonly the case. If there's some type of disturbance involving persons that are intoxicated, usually requires multiple units to respond. That's a significant impact on resources. So based on looking at that, it's probably, from a resource management issue, smart of us to limit that type of activity at those locations.
Thank you. Any questions? Any discussion?
Comment. Criminal Justice didn't okay it, they recommended it.
Neither the Criminal Justice Commission nor the Planning Commission needed to adopt a formal resolution of any kind. This is not, for Planning Commission, it's not a land use ordinance, it's a business license ordinance, so they don't really, it's not really under their purview, but they both did consider and vote that the council should consider adopting it.
I was there for the discussion at the Criminal Justice Commission, and one thing that they did say about it, they went back and forth about looking about how to do this and to recommend it. And there was one thing that came across, and Commissioner Hurd said it. One thing that's certain is that it'll be opened, the container will be opened and consumed either on the street or in a car. So they all agreed on that. So that's why this is being pushed forward.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll move this motion.
I second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Okay, back to the regular agenda. Motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No opposition? It's unanimous. Consent calendar. Anything to be pulled?
No.
Is there a motion?
Motion to accept the consent calendar is currently comprised.
Second that.
Let's vote. Approved unanimously. Now open the public hearing on PH1 with Elizabeth Brubaker. You got any speaker cards?
Not in PH1. No speaker cards. NB1.
Did I skip into it?
No. It's, we went out of order in NB2.
Liz, we don't have any speaker cards. You want to waive the public hearing? Okay.
No, let's just close it.
I mean, close the public hearing, that's right.
Waive the staff report.
Gee, you guys got this down, don't you? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve PH1.
Second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Anything on page 3?
Page 2.
Oh, page 2.
I think you have to recuse yourself.
That's right. All right, I'm going to recuse myself on PH2. It's close to some property I own. Okay.
At 30th Street West and Avenue K. You need to identify.
Yeah, whatever she said. Okay.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Okay to
Waive the staff
waive
report.
the staff report?
Yes.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Need a motion and a second.
I'll move that we adopt resolution number 16-28.
Second that.
Let's vote. Motion passes 3-0-0-1.
With Mayor Paris recusing.
Sort of like the Wizard of Oz, you know, maybe behind the curtain. Okay, PH3?
Right?
Yep.
Any cards?
No cards?
There's no speaker cards on PH3.
We have to open the public hearing.
We'll open the public hearing. We'll waive the staff report. Any communications? Close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to adopt resolution number 16-29.
Second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. It's approved.
Want to make sure that the public is aware that there's no change in the sewer fees, too. I don't want somebody making up stories.
I heard that took place.
Well, we can reopen the public hearing and let everybody in on it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, new business item 1. One speaker card. We'll hear from Rhonda Perez. Okay, we got a political science class here, so I want it to be riveting.
Okay. Andy's going to be riveting. I'm going to be the nuts and bolts. So good evening, Mayor Paris and Council. It is my pleasure to bring forth to you tonight for consideration adoption of a cultural arts plan for the City of Lancaster. For years now, beginning with the reorganization, the renaming, and the relocation of MOA, and bringing on Andy Campagnoni, staff has been working very hard at making Lancaster a cultural destination for locals as well as visitors. LPAC is reinventing itself. I think everybody's seeing that. We're starting to feel it, and they're really reconnecting with the performing arts community. The museum is now redefining visual arts itself and enhancing outreach to the public as well. MOA has come from very humble beginnings, attached to the high school district just down the street, but now it is considered a must-see for the LA art world. Adoption tonight of this cultural plan will pave the way for three things. It will facilitate our ability to apply for specialized grant funding reserved for those institutions that only have a cultural plan adopted. It will also assist us in the accreditation process for MOA. And it will also provide a roadmap for implementing a public art policy. I'm going to turn it over to Andy Campagnoni and Michelle Shaver of the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation Board for some more details.
How do I click the thing? Okay. I don't know. Good evening, Mayor Paris and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to make this presentation of the proposed Master Cultural Plan for the City of Lancaster. In 2015, Council requested a plan be developed that focused on arts and cultural environment in Lancaster. The impetus for the development of this sustainable plan came from Council's understanding that arts and cultural development enable economic growth, improve a community's quality of life, and how cultural planning advances advocacy. This process of developing a master cultural plan for the City of Lancaster was partially funded by the California Community Foundation and the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation, with special support from the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Department here at the city. This 5-year proposed plan is the culmination of multiple stakeholder meetings, a community survey, and one-on-one discussions with residents. While lofty goals and objectives were discussed and contemplated, it was clear the direction of the plan should be realistic, with attainable goals set based on the momentum of existing resources, available funding, and previously successful programming. 40 organizations participated in 3 stakeholder meetings. These organizations included community leaders, everyone from business owners to teachers to artists to government officials. These meetings not only improved community communication, but revealed a wealth of existing resources previously unknown to both community members and organizations. And I had a huge epiphany at one of those meetings when I could not believe how much funding was available in this community that wasn't being utilized. So that, I think, writing this plan will help us access that money. Over 550 community members participated in the survey.
Wait a minute, go back to the money. How much money is out there?
There's a lot. There's millions of dollars out there, and just in the LA County, yes, that we can access if we have a plan. Yeah.
You better have a good plan.
I have a good plan. I do have a good plan. Over 550 community members participated in the survey. So this wasn't just about our leadership and our stakeholders in the community saying, this is what I want. This was also about listening to our community members tell us, I'm interested in culture. I'm interested in murals. I'm interested in public art. I would like to be able to attend more ethnic and culturally related performances. So it wasn't pie in the sky, like I could come up with some fancy, crazy plan, but it was more about how does this affect our local community and people, real people that live here in Lancaster. So out of those 550 community members that participated, 93% of them, and by the way, 550 that respond to a survey through a museum is pretty massive. We were thrilled that we got that many responses. 93% that responded said that culture was very important to them. Of those folks, 67% of them said that they wanted to see an increase in murals and public art in the community. 30% of that 550 participate at least once a month in a cultural event, whether that's here in Lancaster or down below. And 6% of people who participated said that they participate in the arts every single day in the AV. So that's 38 community members that either work in the arts or are part of the creative community in Lancaster. We compared communities of similar size and demographic and utilized information from existing cultural plans from other municipalities. In addition, we consulted plans from larger cities that inspired and emphasized the importance of quality of life, a foundation for strong cultural tourism, which is my favorite, and youth advocacy and a sense of community pride. This led to 3 of the most important goals identified through the stakeholder meeting, survey responses, and community feedback. It was important to point out that this proposed plan considers existing resources. So we're not pie in the skying, we want to do some fancy thing and we can't find money for it. This is totally based on what's out there already, both programmatic and financial. We developed attainable goals through meaningful objectives and strategies to guarantee success. Because one of the worst things we could do is put together a plan and in 5 years not successfully finish any of those objectives in the plan. We want to be able to get at the end of that 5 years and say we accomplished everything on the plan. Goal number 1, by increasing our partnerships and improving our communication, we can bridge across divides of ethnicity, race, age, and socioeconomic class. This not only increases access to diverse opportunities, but connects organizations to additional resources, which I keep hitting over the head with. MOA has successfully completed multiple projects that reach all residents of the Antelope Valley. For example, our partnership with the Los Angeles County Arts Commission, we've done multiple projects with them that are not strictly arts-based. The first project was AV Outpost, and that was an opportunity for the community to bridge the gap between the residents in Sun Village and Little Rock and work directly with LA County Planning Department and decide how planning will happen in those two communities. And that was facilitated through MOA and LA County Arts Commission. We also had 2 projects that were youth-based, our Wasteland Project and Crosswinds. This was an educationally driven youth program focused on sustainable living, and it's part of our Green MOA initiative that follows into the city's 2020 goal of being green energy complete. Let's see. And one of the other projects with LA County was we helped in the public engagement, the museum did, in designing the massive art structure at the High Desert Regional Medical Center, which is up here on I. That piece took 1.5 years, and we engaged, I think it was close to 1,000 community members on that specific piece. They participated in projects and writing assignments and surveys, and they came up with what kind of icons represented best their experience of living in the Antelope Valley. And what we came up with the artist Brad Howe, who actually grew up in Lancaster, were over 8,000 icons, but anywhere from a pair of scissors to a Joshua tree to a poppy to an aerospace. And if you walk up into the High Desert Regional Medical Center here, I think it's it's on I. The piece is called One Desert Sky, and it runs the length of the entire building. It is a massive blue cloud, and when you get up close on the second floor, you can see that each one of those small blue items is an icon representing a community member's idea of what it means to live in Lancaster. Those are huge, and the people who are participating aren't necessarily making the art, but they feel that they are part of that process. Goal number 2, a sustainable master plan will expand programs for youth throughout the community, similar to those already existing and established at MOA Cedar, and the Lancaster Performing Arts Center. Partnerships with Land Art Generator Initiative, the Kennedy Center, and Housing Corps of America, among others, not only brought funding, but access to ideas and global resources in science and the arts. So if you don't know about Land Art Generator Initiative, it is an international initiative that couples architecture with sustainable energy. We just hosted them here at the museum as part of our Green MOA exhibit, and they are launching their 2016 international competition in Santa Monica. I will be there on Thursday as part of the panel, and they are kicking off their very first youth program here in Lancaster. It is a hugely big deal. They presented at the Capitol, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and MOA's programming was mentioned at least a dozen times in that presentation. So we're thrilled to be represented on that level. Our last goal, goal number 3, is enhancing the public image of Lancaster. Through our stakeholder meetings and survey responses, it was reconfirmed that public art is a strong part of Lancaster's identity. These installations, already in place, and future commissions reflect our community. They tell our community story. They instill pride of ownership. They promote a positive presence in the media. and they encourage cultural tourism through site-specific destinations. And I want to point out, like the recently installed Astral Challenger, if you have not been out to Challenger Way and L, you should go out. Our first roundabout is finished, and it is adorned with the most beautiful 20-foot Astral Challenger by artist Shauna Mabari, and it is gorgeous during the day and at night, but it celebrates the Challenger, the 7 astronauts, and the community story in that region. So you should definitely check it out. It has already become a destination on Google Earth. If you Google it, it will already automatically bring it up, show you pictures, tell you what it is, tell you where it is, and we hope that the next several roundabouts that we do and the artwork that we place there will also have that same effect. People will come to see those. By developing an art in public places policy, the art will not be randomly placed. LMPAF will lead a committee to manage the public art funds, ensure that all public art in the city of Lancaster be relevant to the region, and that the art will withstand the elements through proper engineering and maintenance. And I forgot to bring this up earlier, part of kicking off, launching this cultural plan is a massive mural project that's coming to downtown Lancaster in August. It is called Powwow. It is it's an international group that started in Hawaii, I think it was 5 years ago, but they bring artists and street artists from all over the world into a place, and they develop a number of murals throughout a community to help with education with young people, to teach about graffiti, to also talk about cleaning up blighted neighborhoods through the arts. So we are super honored because they go to places like DC and Tokyo and where they were in Berlin, and they've only done Long Beach in California, and so Lancaster is up, and they will be here in August. It's called Powwow at Antelope Valley, and we'll be doing it again in 2018. So that's pretty much what's happening here, but I just wanted to close with not only does the plan address the needs of and opportunities for artists, cultural institutions, and community citizens, it easily integrates into relevant aspects of city planning, historic preservation, cultural tourism, urban design, and neighborhood revitalization. And thank you for listening.
Wow.
And I know you have tons of questions, but I wanted to introduce Michelle Shaver, who's one of our board members on the Lancaster Museum and Public Art Foundation.
I don't have a lot to say. I'm just here to let you know that on behalf of LMPAF that we do support Andy 100%. As a citizen here in Lancaster, I'm very proud of where our museum is. I have been involved with the museum for about 15 years. I was involved when it was in the older location, and I'm so excited to see the growth that we have every year. Every year the changes that we have within the museum are just amazing because I get to work with the schools and bring in the students to take tours within not only MOA, but then we do a walking tour of the boulevard. We also go to Cedar, and we also stop by the Western Hotel. So to be able to share this museum with students and also to be able to share the history of Lancaster and the Antelope Valley, it's just really a wonderful feeling for me. But every year, I think we can't outdo it, and Andy has this way of bringing another show that is just as fabulous as the current one or even better. So I just hope that you continue to support the museum as much as we do.
Do you all have any questions about the cultural plan?
Who's working up the themes for the various areas on the murals?
All of them, there really aren't any. The artists were invited. There's a handful of artists. 3 of them are local. We wanted to make that clear that when they came here that they would have to include 3 of our artists, Julius Eastman, Michael Jones, and Chris Holliday. Chris Holliday is a teacher at RX Paris High School, and her mural will also include all of her students. So you'll see, in addition to these professional artists painting, you'll also see our local artists, and you'll also see high school students participating. I think it's a really awesome opportunity for them to work on a project like this. I'm guessing, since most of these people are Southern California artists, because we decided not to go crazy on the expenses by flying people in from Denmark and Japan, most of them are familiar with Lancaster, being that they've either shown at the museum before or they've visited the museum, so they know the region's connection to aerospace and obviously poppies and Joshua Trees. I'm sure we're going to see some other themes. The artist Bumblebee Loves You does black and white silhouettes of children with ice cream cones and balloons, and I don't think any of the artists have any subject matter that I would feel would be not relevant or inappropriate for our downtown. So
You went negative. I'm not going negative.
I'm just covering that.
If we put the kids' murals around where there's traffic around schools, you prime the drivers that there's kids in the area.
And that is part of
Let me
for our
finish.
2018.
Let me finish. And
Okay.
on the bike trails, if we do the murals with a lot of bikes in it, we increase the safety of those bike trails. And so I'd like you to consider the priming effects of any murals you do, and do it with a purpose of leveraging it.
Oh, yes.
Okay? And
Yes.
you may want to meet with public safety to do that.
Okay.
But rather than just, I always say it wrong. Rather than have beautiful artwork, let's have beautiful artwork with a purpose.
Of course.
Okay? A purpose of priming people in that particular area as to a specific purpose.
Right now, I think the 15 walls that have been donated by property owners are all within the downtown PBID. The Boulevard Association has generously offered to pay each artist a stipend, which they don't normally get paid when they do these events. They show up there, the paint is on them, all the expenses are on the artist, and we're actually making it very appealing to get some of the better artists to come up. So we're really excited about that, and that's super generous that they're going to pay for that. But the plan is in 2018 to expand that to citywide, which would mean bike paths and actually painting on the bike path. And on the crosswalks in school districts where you would have children crossing, they would physically be painting the mural on the crosswalk.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So that's the plan anyway for 2018. It was too quick for me to put that all together for this year, but we're hoping with 2 years in advance we'll be able to manage that.
Okay. That's great news. Thank you.
That's it? No more questions? Awesome. Thanks.
Oh, I forgot. It's my meeting.
Ready for a motion?
Do we need a motion on this?
Motion to approve the 5-year cultural plan.
Well, wait a minute. We can't. We got Fran. Fran, I almost forgot you. How could I do that? You guys ought to pay close attention to who the vice mayor is. That is showing signs of age.
Am I on your, maybe I'm on your electrical? It's going down slow. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and Commissioners, and ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, youngsters. We need you in this center all the time. On this cultural, it's a good thing. I love it. I'm an artist as well as everything else I do, but not a very good one. But anyway, I dabble in paint. And it's a good thing, a very, very good thing. But I have a little bit of concern. This is pertaining more to children or young people that are in the arts fields and crafts fields. My concern is, how do we get the kids off the streets and get them involved in something creative like this? Are we venturing out to help like the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Clubs? And are we doing anything for them? That's basic what I want to say is because there's so many. The arts are great, but what about the kids that are left on the sidelines?
I think Andy can address that. Why don't we have her come up? Okay.
Actually, all of the partners.
I can't turn around.
Can everybody hear her? Andy, you got to grab a mic. Take Brian Ludicke's mic.
There are partners that are included in the stakeholders that participated in the plan were some of them that were youth-oriented were the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the entire school districts, all of the entire school districts. This plan is not meant for artists. This plan is meant for the community.
Okay, well, you said community and you said cultural planning, and that wasn't really specifically generated to everybody, encompassing everyone. So that was my concern, and I thank you for your answer. Oh, one real quick thing. I met a nice young man yesterday. Coming from the Metrolink, we went on a cultural ride, and we went to Santa Monica and the new
How was
Metro.
that? How was that?
That was wonderful.
Was it?
It was great, yeah, because I went in this thing. But anyway, I had a good time. But on the way back, there's a new little shop called Sip and Dip Artistry, and the young man's name is Brian. And he was painting and caught my eye because anything with paint caught me. Anyway, he's having an open house this Friday. It's from 4:30 on, and the chamber is sponsoring or helping him out because I talked to him a little bit, and I said I would try to help him and give him a little commercial here. I appreciate him, and everybody show up, please.
So what does he do?
He's an artist, and he paints, shows his canvases there. He's going to have art classes for whomever wants to have them, youngsters or adults. He's just starting off. He's really bare walls, so he needs a lot of help and a lot of encouragement.
Thanks, Fran.
Thank you.
You're a saint. Okay.
Motion to approve the 5-year cultural plan.
Is there a second?
Second that. Second.
It's unanimous. Approved. Okay, Vice Mayor Chris.
You want to call the speaker up first? Maybe I can answer some of his questions if he has some.
Jim Barletta?
Good evening, Mayor Paris. It's nice to see you back with us again. And members of council. First of all, I want to start off by saying what I usually say. What a great job this council is doing for this city.
Thank you.
After being here for 45 years, I remember what it was way before you people came on board, and what a difference it's made. So I hope that starts off on the right note. But I'm here right now to oppose a situation that's kind of got me real concerned. It's about this parcel tax that Mr. Chris has brought up. Yeah, of course, you haven't said you're going to do it yet, but I'm kind of hoping you're going to change your mind and think about it some more. Because me as a homeowner, I had nothing to do with this situation that's going on here. And I know you have compassion, but please have some compassion for the homeowners, the people who have respected and supported this city. You know, you might say, well, it's only $30 or $60 or whatever, but you know what? When you're a senior especially, I'm 81 years old now. I'm no spring chicken. I don't have an income anymore. I haven't had for many, many years. But I just manage with what I have. But when different entities, they keep throwing these assessments in our tax bill, I mean, where's it going to end? I know most of you are probably around, and you probably remember back in the 60s and in the 70s when people were losing their homes due to the fact they couldn't pay their tax bill. Something like this is the start of that whole situation again. I mean, you look at your tax bill now, and there's stuff on there that you wonder how it even got there. And, you know, the proposal I'm hearing is that you're thinking about putting another one. And I know it's a bad situation, but it seems to me that the people who have caused this situation is the County of Los Angeles. They're supposed to be giving you a certain amount of money. They're not doing it. Why not just take those people to court? Put them in front of a judge and ask, why aren't you doing your job, or get out? To me, that'd be the first step I would take if I was in your place. I sure wouldn't put it on the backs of the homeowners here. I mean, we're the people who support you, and I'll continue to support you. But please, gentlemen, give that some real hard thought. I know most of you folks have a pretty nice income right now and everything is great. But when you get older, that income going to stop. You're going to find you're going to be spending more time on medical bills that you never had before. And anyway, I hope you got the message from me, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Jim.
Let me give a... We can go through the process that got us here in the first place. It's not something that we look or take lightly. It's not something that we're going to do unless we absolutely have to. I agree with you as far as the LA County, not the LA County, but LASA is responsible for not giving us our fair share of money for the homeless. But it's starting to affect everybody, and it's starting to affect everybody, and the homeless are breaking into the homes. They're staying there, they're squatting in there, they're staying on different businesses, not only on the boulevard, but they're using the businesses as restrooms. So we need some type of facility to do that. Because we've been shortchanged, not only at the hospital level, but many different levels, the city of Lancaster and the entire Antelope Valley has been shortchanged by LA County, LASA, for the homeless issue. So if we don't have to put this on the tax roll, it's not something that we're going to do lightly. We're taking a look at it. LA County, the individual that's running for supervisor, Catherine Barger, has stepped up and is going to do a check presentation for us for $1 million to help us with this. So if we can start prying loose. So I would recommend all those people at home and all the other citizens that have a complaint or don't want us to do this, to call LA County, to call them, to call LASA, and to register your complaint with them, because we've absolutely done everything possible to help this group of people, and we just do not have the funding. And again, we get, as SPA 1, we get $279 per person. SPA 4, which is downtown LA, gets $4,500 per person. So it's a tremendous difference to the community, and we need everyone's help, and everyone has to come together on this. So the report is that, and we're still looking at doing it. We're still looking at the variations of it and what it will entail, and we're still trying to shake the tree loose of some fruit for the money to actually do it, so we don't have to do this. So it's a proposal. It's something that's out there. So we're still going to look at it. We're still going to go forward as far as looking at it, but nothing as of this date. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Why can't we build in some type of exemption or waiting period? I think he made a good point. I mean, what do you do with people who are retired, who have a fixed income? Now, is there a way to do these things so that it just operates as a lien when the property's sold?
That's a very good point. And one of the things we're looking at, we've hired a consultant right now to design it. Is there a potential for exemptions for different classes of people that the council can put in? Seniors, fixed income, things of that nature. So absolutely you will have those options.
Okay.
And you can weight it towards residential versus other kinds of properties.
All right. Jim, I liked everything you said except one thing. I don't think we should ever be approaching these situations as it's not my problem. If we live here, it's our problem. Now, the solution, there's a lot of room for discussion. And if I can get 2 out of 3 right, I think I'm doing something wonderful. We're going to be wrong at times. But if it's a problem in Lancaster and you live in Lancaster, if it's not your problem, you really should live someplace else because you're not invested in the community. And I'm not saying that to you because I know you are invested. I'm just saying it's an attitude I think we have to start working on more. Fair enough? Yeah, come on up. I mean, you can say whatever you want. I mean, I don't know too many people as engaged as you are, and here I'm giving you an engagement discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things I did forget to mention. Is it necessary to build something that's going to cost millions of dollars? You know, I'm thinking about the military. When I was in the military barracks, you know, they were a shelter from the elements. And my God, all it was just a great big shell of a building, maybe 50 wide, but I'm just guessing, go back, remember all these years, but roughly 150 feet long, wide enough to put 2 rows of beds, one on top of the other. And you had a big shower room. There was one room for everybody. And it was what I would call a low, expensive project to build.
You know, I think
would do the same. It would do the job. I'm not saying get Joe Arpaio over here from Arizona. I mean, that's kind of extreme.
You know, that might be a solution for a bunch of men, but I wouldn't want to see, you know, mothers with their children living in that situation.
Well, build 2, maybe.
What?
Build 2.
Build 2. I think that there's so many columns that this problem fills that they have to be addressed according to the category of the group we're attempting to lift up. If we just take them out of the weather, we just perpetuate a problem. These people need a lot of help, and if there's a drug problem, I want to treat the drug problem. And I was totally opposed to this initially because I thought it might attract more homeless. But, you know, David Parker from the Vineyard was sitting right there, and he pointed out to me, we're talking 400 people here. We've got 7,000 homeless in the area. This isn't going to attract anybody. And with that caveat, I think this is our problem. Now, what I want to do is find a solution that doesn't make it a bigger problem for the hardworking families that live here. And that's what we're working on. But the reason we call it a problem is because it's difficult to solve.
I understand what you're saying. I also feel that the nicer you build it, the word's going to get out, and you're going to have more and more and more people coming up here to take advantage of that. But one other thing I did want to say before I leave, if I could, I definitely oppose the parcel tax for the simple reason that I still believe that it's not going to be shared by everybody. I know I'm going to hear that, but I don't believe it. I would, if you have to have a tax, then my God, make it a sales tax so that everybody pays. Because just an hour ago, I was having a hot dog down at the new hot dog place in town. And a friend of mine is a manager there. And we were talking about the same situation. He said, you know, he says, just last Sunday, I was down here with my wife. We were washing the windows, and a couple of 3 homeless guys walked by. And as they walked by, I could hear one of them overhead, speak to the other one. Geez, I did good today, man. I made $60 today. They make more money than I do.
Some do.
I just wanted to throw that out there for whatever it's worth.
There isn't any doubt there's a lot of folks that are just freeloaders, and it makes all of us angry. That doesn't give us the license to tell the mother with 2 children or 3 children that's now homeless that we don't care. And I think what we're looking for is a way to address the various individual problems according to the individual. But yeah, I get it. A lot of these guys, my understanding is what I've heard is these guys who actually have a corner and are making money, they look down on the rest of the homeless because they actually have a job. They got a corner to work. Now, that's what I heard. Obviously, it's a very complex problem we need to deal with.
Actually, if you're going to pick on the homeowners, though, is that not socialism?
You know, are we really going to
those who don't want to work?
I'd say that you got a point if there were jobs available. And, you know, we're running as fast as we can to create these jobs. But we still don't have enough jobs to address this issue. And the problem is it's going to get worse. I mean, robotics are forcing people out of the labor market, and we've just got a lot of issues to resolve along the way. And what I don't want to see is a whole generation of kids being treated as trash. Okay?
Jim, let me address a couple of the things that you said. When we took him out to the High Desert Hospital, and we did that, the fire department came in and said, we're going to have to retrofit everything and make it earthquake proof for the actual hospital, and that was a little over $35 million. So then we moved over to another facility, and that had to be sprinklered. And so the laws have changed since you were in the military and so we have to make sure that all these things are addressed. So if we put it in, we have to take care of our veterans. Our veterans, and some of our veterans don't live under housing, so we have to have some type of tent city for them.
I'm all for the veterans.
So but the main thing that I like about this plan is it gives us the authority to either take somebody off the street that's panhandling aggressively, and take them to the shelter or take them to the sheriff's department. So it gives us that ability. Right now, we don't have that ability. We don't have anywhere to take them. So with a facility, a location to take them where they can get help, or they're asking for help on our street corners. I do not like somebody, when I get off on Avenue K, to get there, they're always panhandling there, they're holding up signs, and that's the first thing that you see inside the city of Lancaster. That's not a very good thing for the city of Lancaster. We need to stop that. So our image, everything that we're talking about, we need to correct that. And the ability to correct that comes from providing them with a shelter and a place to go. So our sheriff's department, and this parcel tax that we're talking about, also has a component in it for the sheriff's department. So we can have a dedicated piece or a dedicated car from the sheriff's department that will go around and actually respond to people calling for aggressive panhandling and all that kind of stuff. So it's just not building a shelter and forgetting about them and it didn't go away. There's a bigger problem out there. They're becoming more and more aggressive. It's an image problem. We're trying to solve a lot of different things out there. We've been working on it. I've been working on it for 3.5 years. So there's a lot of boxes that we've checked. I've talked with everything from congressmen on down. So we've talked to everybody. We've threatened LASA about removing ourselves from LASA and becoming our own entity because we're not getting, but it's not cost effective to do that. We cannot do that, and we're not guaranteed any funding to do that. So there's a lot of different things that we've looked at, but so it's not something that we said, hey, here's a solution. This is absolutely the last solution that we have. Otherwise, we're stuck with a problem. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Christ.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, council reports.
Transit Authority, making national news. Metro, this is a national magazine. BYD is on it. AVTA is on it. The aggressive goal for zero emissions. Mr. Raj Mali is in it.
He's famous now.
He is famous, and I want to point out I do chair the.
Vice Mayor still he's in charge though.
I chair it, but Raj's picture's in there. So, on a national magazine, I wanted to show everybody that Raj is the one that's highlighted in there. So he's a good-looking one of the council. So
maybe that was the problem. The photographer noticed the age difference and decided that Raj was better looking as a representative.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I figured as much.
You two aren't in there either. So we are making news. The AVTA is recognized as the first, not only in the nation, but in the world as far as for what we're doing.
Thank you. City Manager, any announcements?
I have a few. I'll be as quick as possible. First off, to everyone, happy Bob Dylan's birthday.
For those of you youngsters, that would be America's greatest songwriter. 75 today. It's a big day. We have a few.
Hey, you got a name tag. Wow. Good job.
You just destroyed my rhythm.
Oh, sorry. Well, when I do that, my wife usually says, "Oh, look, a chicken." Go on.
Yes, she's also going to get a paycheck very soon, too, right? We have a few events coming up. On June 4th, we have the LPAC fundraiser. That's always a great event. That's Saturday. It's a fundraiser and a lot of fun to be had at that. Thunder on the Lot comes to Lancaster City Park on June 11th and 12th. We have a really interesting program that Andy mentioned. It starts, it's for on weekdays from June 15th to July 15th. It's put on by the Land Art Generator Initiative, and it's an art think tank. It's funded generously by the council and by some grants. It's for kids 8 to 17. And the participants get to design and collectively look at processes that envision public art combined with the use of solar panels to generate clean energy. So it's sort of a pretty cool camp over the summer, and we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be very cool. We do have 2 videos. The first we're going to show you is Toast of the Town. This celebrates the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council. I think what gets lost in here is a couple things. Number one, this program, Lancaster School District, let the city, AmeriCorps Vistas, and such come in, and for 450 kindergarten students at 3 schools, they are being taught healthy eating and active lifestyles, and they're going to be followed throughout their careers. And next year, the school district is committed to double it. The second thing that gets lost is a lot of people deserve credit, but Stephen Derryberry is one of those people that you guys have appointed who actually takes a problem and does something and implements something. So with that, we have a short video.
We have effected change in 450 plus kindergarten students and their families. We felt that the only way to affect change is do it through health and wellness. Through the help of the City of Lancaster and their partnership with the AmeriCorps Vistas, we launched this council, the Mayor's Health and Wellness Council. This council is really a partnership. Everybody involved has brought together these initiatives for the benefit of our students. For the 400 plus students that we've brought through this program, we feel that the health savings cost through the avoidance of obesity is $19,000 per student. It's not unrealistic when you think about the complications from obesity. That's $7.5 million to be saved by these families over the lifetime of these students, just from what we've done in these programs. What are we going to do from here on out? We're going to continue to promote this change throughout the next 12 years of their education.
And as many of you know, the Lancaster Auto Mall has been going crazy. We're blessed with some really good auto dealers that support the community. Lancaster Honda is expanding greatly. The next video doesn't have any music or anything. It just has trucks knocking stuff down for remodeling, which is always pretty cool.
Slow news day, I take it.
Tell me you wouldn't want to be on that truck.
Only if I had a Honda. I apologize. I really apologize. I mean, seriously. Really?
You did. We could play it again. Maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe you missed it the first time.
Mark gets excited over all sorts of stuff, huh?
We're gonna show somebody digging a hole next week. I mean,
we
Public Works Week didn't make the cut for this one, but that'll be next time.
Speaking of our auto dealers, I saw that Hunter Dodge made #1 in the region. So as far as sales, I think that's pretty
That's
good.
for Dodge Ram for the
Correct.
truck dealership. Yeah. They're also in the process of design and expanding across the street. So the auto dealers are doing really well, and they employ collectively hundreds of people. They've added, I think, over 100 just over the last 12 months.
So when is the construction going to be complete? Because I want to make certain you get the movie of the paint drying.
Was that sarcasm?
Sorry. Anything else?
I think I'm going to stop there. Did I tell you it was Bob Dylan's birthday? I mentioned that, right?
Whose birthday?
Bob Dylan.
Baseball?
I know a young Rex Paris listened to Bob Dylan.
Actually, I didn't. But I mean, I can understand why a lot of people did. Anyway. City Attorney.
Look at chicken.
You know, I think that was unfair. I mean, that was a gift I gave, right? And he took the gift and he threw it back at me. Amanda, I'd like you to get him into some counseling. I mean, we should start at the top. Okay? Now, I would like an ordinance, a draft of an ordinance, that anyone from Children's Services who interviews any parent or child without a tape recorder running or like device be charged with a misdemeanor. Invite county council to, yeah, that's right, isn't it? Invite county council to comment on it. But in the city of Lancaster, we're going to adopt 21st century law enforcement techniques and actually record the evidence with the clear indication to them that they wouldn't be prosecuting 4 of their own social workers had they instituted this 4 years ago. Because we would have known they interviewed that family. All right? Now, it might be preempted, but I don't think so. I think we could do this. Once you draft it, I would like it to be submitted to criminal justice to review it. And remind them that it was 2.5 years ago we asked them for this ordinance or for this change in policy. 2.5 years ago, they promised us they were going to diligently work on it and report back to us. And they treated us like a mushroom. You all know how you treat a mushroom, don't you? You feed them and you keep them in the dark. That's what they did. All right? Can you do that for me? Anybody have any thoughts, concerns?
The only concern that I would have is that what effect would it have on them interviewing an individual that didn't want to be, that was telling about a situation? Can we make sure that that's addressed?
I mean, if the individual doesn't want to be tape recorded?
No, if an individual is telling about a problem.
So a third-party reporter, is that what you're talking about, like a mandatory reporter or something like that?
What I'm talking about is the parent or the child. I'm not talking about a third party who's reporting it, but a parent or a child.
Right, I noted parent and child was what you had said, so. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, we'll put something together.
Because what they do now, if the parent wants to record it, they refuse, and then they report to the judge that they're not cooperating. I mean, what kind of crap is that? No, that's really true. That's what they do. But we've now seen the consequences of that.
Right.
You have social workers who have said they did something that they didn't. And this would have made it very easy. Okay, show me the tape. Well, let me hear the tape. Right. All right, good.
Okay.
And I had something else, but I forgot it. I really should take notes. Anyone else? Anything? What about criminal justice? What do we have? Anything? No.
Criminal justice is, as I spoke about before, we formed a subcommittee to investigate or to study the medical marijuana laws, the potential for medical marijuana use in city limits, and also looking at the, let me get the name right, the Justice and Rehabilitation Act. Starting with the Justice and Rehabilitation Act, this act is being circulated for signature for a ballot measure, and it potentially will have negative impacts upon sentencing for crimes. It takes a step further than Prop 47. And so we're looking at it to see what the impacts may be and see if there's maybe cause for a resolution or something to be brought to the council. Had a meeting with Mr. Dennis Vinson of the District Attorney's Office to discuss the bill and where it's at and what they plan to do with it. So there's more to come. There's more discussion, and we will be having on it, and there'll be more to come in the future.
Thank you.
No problem.
Planning Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. We've heard a couple of reports recently on land use impacts as it relates to commercial parking restrictions and potential changes of that. I reported that a few weeks ago to you folks. And we're seriously looking at revising the regulations and be more user-friendly, if you will, and hopefully give our community and our city the opportunity to generate more retail sales on a better utilization of commercial properties in our town. I would like to point out too, just as a side note, Fran talked about taking the Gold Line down to Santa Monica. I'm really not that old, but I remember riding the red car from San Fernando to Santa Monica.
That was 64 years ago, wasn't it?
Actually 65.
65 years ago. No, you really are that old.
And it was a thrill.
Yeah?
My mom doesn't remember it, but she's still alive, so.
I was at a place that Garcetti was speaking today, and that's how I know it was 65 years. A long time ago.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Anyone else? Anything else? We got speakers. Okay, wait a minute. This is the class, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you're compelled to do this, is that right?
Yes.
You know, I have it within my authority to cut it from 3 minutes to a minute. Up to you.
Yes.
No? Leave it at 3? Okay.
Let's compromise at 2.
You don't have to use
2?
minutes.
No, what?
Well, you don't have to use.
Okay, well, we got a special treat for you because, you know, we've got this heart monitor to see if your pulse goes up. No, I'm kidding. Okay, great. Who has to? Fran does? Fran, you got to get out of here? You want to go first?
I'm staying. I'm not going to do what I did last time. Even though it's till 8:30, I'm staying from now
Good.
on.
Okay, good.
Mr. Mayor, my back is killing me. Can I go first?
I'm sorry, what?
My back is killing me.
Sure, come on up.
Swear to God, Marquis de Sade designed those chairs.
Okay, you got to introduce
Standing up
yourself.
don't help. As we approach Memorial Day,
Can we get your name?
Teresa Malone,
Thank you.
as we approach Memorial Day, my family was once again reminded that freedom isn't free. My Uncle Raymond, and if I wasn't in pain, my Uncle Raymond, a member of the greatest generation, died this week. He was the last surviving child of Thomas and Mary. Uncle Raymond was a World War II veteran. He drove a landing craft in the second wave of the D-Day invasion. After mustering out, he continued in public service. to his own benefit. He bought a two-steering-wheeled driver's ed car and taught generations of teenagers in his hometown of Little Compton and Newport, Rhode Island, how to drive, which explains a lot about Rhode Island. I was reminded last night that he visited Lancaster in 1987. My parents were away. My brother happened to be house sitting, and they chatted for about 20 minutes. And being a typical Malone, he sat in the car the entire time. Didn't even come into the house, even though he was on the other side of the country. Uncle Raymond's wish is to have his ashes scattered over Normandy. We can never repay those who keep us free, but we can never forget their sacrifice. Thank you, Uncle Raymond.
Thank you. Now, are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Yes, sir. Tony Dudley.
Tony.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council Member, Commissioner, and everybody else. My name is Tony Dudley Jr. I'm a criminal justice major at Antelope Valley College. I'm from Florida. First, I want to say that the tuition here is a lot different in Florida, where it's $100 a credit, as opposed to my whole semester fees came out to $30. So that was very crucial when it came to me being able to buy the supplies that I needed to be effective in school. My question today will go to the Criminal Justice Commission. What's your name, sir?
My name is Sheldon Carter.
Okay, Mr. Carter, I want to work for the FBI in the future, and I've been told to that maybe I should work for a police department and then try to maybe transfer that kind of way. What would you advise me to do when they came to that situation?
My advice, first and foremost, is in this day and age to get any job with the government or anything requiring a clearance or access to sensitive information is to consider very carefully every act you do right now.
Yes, sir.
Because your background check depends on it.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, joining the police force is a very good way to get started. However, a stint in the military would be better if you did law enforcement within the military.
Right.
Especially if you want to deal with the FBI, because that's a federal springboard into a federal office.
Right. Yes, sir.
So that would be my two suggestions.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I can't read this. Is it BADA, B-A-D-A, or B-H-A-A, or? Okay. What's your first name?
My first name is Olatunde. It's nice meeting you,
That's what I
Mayor
told him.
and the council. I know you because I've been in Lancaster for 11 years. I'm a first-generation immigrant from Nigeria, and I'm trying to make sure I slide myself to American dream by getting this good education. And I'm lucky to have a job in the city with the sheriff department, and I've been there for 9 years now. Married with my wife. She's the one that brought me here anyway. We went to college together out there in Africa. Our parents are Americans, doing some good thing out there. So I'm lucky to be one of those people that come here the right way, and I'm trying to, I love this. And I don't know, this goes on in Lancaster for my long time of staying here, and I promise to see my face more often because I like to be part of this community. This is the only city I ever live in America, and I don't think I want to trade it for any other. So thank you for the good job, sir.
So I'm here because I have to be here for the class. And I think this is a very, very good, highly educative, and I know there are more things that comes to my brain that I will bring to your attention. So thank you for the good job, sir.
Mark, can we get the camera so we get a...
I don't think they can adjust that.
We'll see if we can.
I'm sorry, what?
Because we have to, we'll see. We'll try.
Should we take a break?
It's up to you.
What I'd like to do is get, so that you get the television video, you know, full face, rather than from the back. We're going to take a break and get the cameras changed, okay? I mean, let's not waste this. The, you know, occasionally I'll teach a law school class, and what I tell them is that every time you get called on, that's a chance to practice, you know, and that's what you're doing now is a chance to practice. Because trust me, the people who make the money in this world are the people that can stand up and persuade people. Oh, they've changed them?
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't science wonderful? Okay, let's go. What was it? Sergey Vanjuri?
Surya Venguri, but it's a difficult name.
That's what I said.
Blame you for not. Yeah, I gotcha. I understood. But anyway, yeah, my name is Surya Venguri. I'm also part of the political science group back here. Yeah, I really don't have any questions or anything to bring up, but my occupation right now is that I'm going to AVC for sociology. I like to pursue a sociology course, and with that in mind, I'm interested in pursuing social work. My current occupation right now is that I'm a behavioral therapist for a company that works with autistic kids or other kids with intellectual inabilities. So I am getting more heavily involved on the mental health side of things, and I'm wondering, like, if we're going to increase support, I guess, for the mental health in Lancaster, especially. Like, I know that homeless has been mentioned already, just so many on the streets, so many people who I see every day just not getting the care that they need. So that's my main concern for the city, to increase the mental health support, I guess.
We're doing a emergency room for mental health, which would be located, I believe, off of Avenue I as of right now. So, yes, we're working on it.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that was my only concern. I'm just up here for the class, but I thank you for addressing my question, sir.
Thank you. You know that lectern? That's not to give you a security blanket that you hold on to for dear life. just a suggestion. Mariana Rivera?
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. My name is Mariana Rivera. I am a student of ABC, and I'm with this party, and I'm a major in studio arts. I really don't have much to say other than thank you for what you guys done to the community. And I am quite happy, and being a student of under a major where people tell you it's kind of almost impossible to achieve art. But seeing things such as the rocket ship on Challenger and I believe L there, it gave me a bit of hope, and I'm glad that the city was able to get that up there, and they acknowledged to honor the challenge, the Challenger disaster, to make a beautiful monument such as this, and I just thought it was absolutely wonderful, and other than that, I just want to. That's it. Thank you. I don't know what to say.
Thank you. Samantha Zamora. So you got notes, right? So do you have an ending?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an ending?
No.
We always forget to plan the ending. And then we come to the end and we go, uh-oh, right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So good evening. My name is Samantha Zamora. I'm a student at Antelope Valley College. I'm also with them. This is my first time attending one of these city councils, so this is all new to me. But I do want to say that since this is my first one, I am learning a lot more about the community that I didn't know living here my whole life. I really found it interesting learning about the City of Lancaster's cultural plan and the things they have planned and how the story that was for the roundabout, I didn't know any of that. And what you guys were going to be doing for the homeless, I wanted to say I appreciate all that as well. And yeah, also my major is social and behavioral science, and yeah, I really enjoy like everything all you guys talk about. It's really interesting and new, and yeah, I don't really have any questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's a prize at the end of this. So you're competing. And ask them, whenever I give something away, you like it. Isn't that true? Kaylee, A-K-B-O-R-G. Welcome.
So hi, my name is Kaliak Forgy, and I'm also a student at ABC. I'm with this political science group behind me. I'm studying in studio arts, same as her, and it's been a really fun experience. The main focus that I saw that I really appreciated was the cultural plans. It was just really nice knowing that they're gathering all these artists together and to make such a wonderful thing that I thought would be really great for the community. But I just came up to introduce myself. This is my first time coming to a council meeting, and overall it was an okay experience. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and you're making this community better. So thank you.
I want you to know she was having a great experience till the movies came.
Someone is going to say that was their favorite part before this is over.
Not if they want to win the prize. Jennifer Rivas? Now that is stage fright, you got to admit. Anna Fernandez. Hey, Anna, you know what stage fright is?
Yes.
No.
I'm
Wait a minute,
kind
you
of
don't.
nervous.
I want to help you out here, seriously. You know what that fear of speaking is?
Yeah, it's not.
It's just a fast heartbeat.
Well,
The goal is to lower the heartbeat.
Yeah. My name is Anna Fernandez. I'm also attending ABC. I thought today's information was really interesting, and I appreciate what you guys are doing for the community. And I guess my major is computer animation and
I'm sorry, what was it?
computer animation. Yeah, and that's about it.
Well, do you have something that you can teach us or tell us that would help us?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Oh, but this is my first time attending here, so
So did you have fun?
I thought it was interesting.
Answer. So what'd you think of the movie?
It was good. Yeah. What was that? It was good.
Are you applying for a job? Or? Thank you, Anna. Good job. Is it Miss Hunter? Hunter? Good. How do you pronounce your first name?
Anastasia.
It's close.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dacia Hunter, and I'm also a student at ABC. I don't really have much to say. I just want to say that this meeting was a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. And that's all.
Thank you. Andy, I am so glad you were here because, we wouldn't have gotten very many good reviews but for you. That's right. That's right. So we got 2 artists, right? And the animation. 3? What was the third one? Animation. Yeah, but you didn't tell me what you do.
Well, right now I'm not really doing much. I draw a lot.
You draw a lot. So, could you guys do a mural? You guys couldn't put together a mural of, bike riders or... Andy could help you, couldn't you? All right. Sarah Rafferty. Hi, Sarah.
Well, hello. How are you guys? Good?
We're doing well.
Okay. I'm not afraid to speak, so.
No, I'm getting a little afraid.
Okay. Oh, yes. I'm not an orator by any means, but my name is Sarah Rafferty, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I am a student at Antelope Valley College. This is my second time around in college. I was a nurse, and now I am going into social and behavioral sciences with an emphasis on counseling. And I'm an assistant teacher at Antelope Valley College as of right now, and I really appreciate your cultural inspiration for the children. That really makes me happy. I also wanted to say that I also appreciate your ordinance because we are new to this community. Right now we're actually looking at where to buy a home. We don't know if we wanted to plant ourselves in Palmdale or Lancaster. I also appreciate the fact that you guys prayed before your meeting. Faith is a big, integral part to my family, and we have a 4-year-old daughter. Back to the ordinance, I think it's really important for children, especially under the age of consent, meaning a 4-year-old child, because my daughter, being new to this community, we registered into a local school here. She was just interrogated by a state investigator without my consent and without my knowledge. I never thought something like this would be happening to my child. It's been a great detriment to our family. It's been a harrowing experience because of the trauma that she has suffered from the situation at hand, and she's now seeking therapy. So your ordinance would be a blessing for so many children that have never been put into a situation like that. And I applaud you, Mr. Paris, for doing that, and I applaud the council members for also, and you, of course, you're the city attorney, for putting it together, but I applaud you guys for thinking of the little ones, because even though they're resilient, and that's what I've been hearing over and over and over again, that children are resilient, they can still be affected for years to come in the future. We don't know what this is going to do to their little minds and everything, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for having me and letting me speak.
Stay there. I'm a lawyer, and I've been a lawyer now for 35 years. And so I have some familiarity with child dependency and what the county does. I would never have done what I did tonight if my children were not grown adults.
Right.
Never would have done it because they are that evil. Make no mistake about it. They would use their own political agenda and reach into my family in a heartbeat. That's what they do. And that is why you really need to make certain these people tape record everything.
We sure do.
And
especially as an assistant teacher, I don't mean to interrupt you, especially as an assistant teacher. I was a nurse for years before this happened, and she's our first child, and it was a struggle to have her. And to move to a new community, we thought it was a nice fresh start. We were doing well, and for the situation to happen to her is kind of, taking the rug out from under our feet. And she's precious, and all children are precious. And that's what I thank you for remembering is that.
I just find you want abuses, just make it so people don't have to be accountable.
Right.
You know, I mean, the nature of humanity is to do bad things when we're not held accountable.
It is. It is.
And that's all I want to do with these people. But thank you for coming up.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Jesus Martinez.
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Jesus Martinez. I'm also a student at Antelope Valley College, and my major is auto body. I do take some art classes, so the proposal I heard for the city of Lancaster is actually a great idea. I believe we should try to see if we could work something with the school, with the Antelope Valley College and every other schools, because we recently did something like that, but we had to take a field trip down to the valley it's called the Graph Lab. It's a couple walls in a parking lot that someone owns. They let the community just go out there and, you know, paint their murals on the wall. So, I mean, something like that for Lancaster I think would be a great idea, just to simply get teens and people out of tagging in public areas into somewhere where they could do it in a legal way.
How do you filter out, you know, the artist from the person who doesn't paint so good?
I mean, I take art. I'm not a great artist.
No. I mean, say we had a large public expanse of wall that we made available. How do you make certain that the people doing the artwork on the wall are really artists?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. We're never really going to know. But, you know, it's open. I believe that one's open just on the weekends. And it's open to the public. The public goes, they take their child. Some of them take their child. Some of them, you know, go in large groups and quantities. And, you know, they have ideas and they start painting it. Kind of to do it like a family event, I would believe. So that way, you know, try to keep away, like, all the bad people.
Hey, Marvin's got a great idea, but he's a little shy, so.
It's okay. So am I, sir. I'm actually shaking up here.
No, he's got a great idea.
We have the opportunity to put different advertisements on the sides of the buses, so we can add to your program, and we can put it on the side of the buses. So if you have some people, we can not let them paint on the side of the buses, but paint it. We'll take a picture of it, and then we'll put it on the side of the buses and support it around town. So.
Pretty cool when you have your own bus agency, you know. Elected, next thing you know, you got a bus agency.
I got an air district too.
You know the. He's going to charge you for air in a minute. You know the banners we have on Lancaster Boulevard? When we first came up with that idea, it was because down in Laguna they had local artists hanging there. What's the hang up there? Rhonda, don't tell me the hang up. Just tell me when you're going to do it.
There is no hang up. We will look at that in the coming months.
So when?
Well, we are in the process of hanging the final round of the hero banners here in the next month, but there is some space left that we could, if we can design a program, or we will design a program, and we can fill the remaining spaces with something like that.
Okay, can we involve the college artists too?
Absolutely. Andy works regularly with the college.
Great. Thanks. Good. All right.
Thank you.
Marla Johnson? You know my mother.
Yes. Oh.
Can you help us with him?
She knows way too much about me.
She's friends with my mother, so you're safe.
Okay.
My name is Marla Johnston. I'm with Antelope Valley College. This is entering my second year of Antelope Valley College. This is my peer group back here. I spent 21 years in behavioral health, actually taking care of people. So getting into the social work and behavioral sciences is continuing me that dream. So I really, my passion actually is for what I like to call underprivileged or underserved people. I don't particularly like the term homeless. So because they're still people, they're still part of our community, and yes, we should work to take care of them. Not necessarily just take care of them, but put things in place where they can relearn how to take care of themselves, because we don't really know what may have happened in their lives to get them in the position that they're in. It very likely could have been some sort of tragedy in their lives. So.
Yeah, like getting fired or
Like
laid
getting
off.
fired, like losing their jobs, like a lot of different things. So.
I think we forget how close we can be to that line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also attended a program the other day with the MOA, and I was really, really excited about the things that they're doing in the community to actually beautify and uplift.
Good.
So we need that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
She saw me say no. Michael Hale? Michael.
Hello, Mayor Paris. Oh, that's loud. Mayor Paris, Vice Mayor, the council. Thank you for letting me be up here and talk. I do not much. I play games. I play games and I attend high school. I'm 15, so I can't legally have a job. So, but I attend Soar High School at the AVC College on the campus. And they provide free schooling. I'm pretty sure you know about the program. They provide free college for the first 2 years. So that's what I do. I'm just taking poli-sci because I have to. But I want you to know that I was not expecting to be as interested as I was. I wasn't bored at all. And it was really interesting understanding how the city works and how it functions, how the council plays a part in the city. And God forbid I lose my prize, but I really loved the videos. Thank you.
I don't think anyone else has to speak. I think we have our winner.
What? Megan Kirkbride.
Hi, everyone. I'm also a Soar High School student, the only other one in our class here tonight. I just wanted to say that it was really interesting getting to see about the arts program that was presented tonight, because at Soar High School we don't have basically much in the arts, and it's really hard for people interested in the arts because it's mostly a STEM school. But it was really interesting getting to learn about the different things proposed here tonight, and I don't really have any questions. I'm only 16. So, thank you.
Wait a minute. You're a SOAR student.
Yes.
I mean, you are at the pinnacle of what we consider in the Antelope Valley our prized possession, and you're there. You got to have a question.
I really don't. Thank you for letting me.
I do want to tell you something. We've
Yes.
got two people from Santa Clarita. They tell us that that's not how their council meetings go. So I don't want to make anybody think this is how it's done. It's not how it's done, is it? All right. Thank you, Megan. Hey, congratulations at being at SOAR. They work you guys to death. Mike Chambers.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, he's done this before. Can you tell?
My name is Mike Chambers. I am a second-year political science student. I am sort of the de facto leader of these rebels behind me. The first day of class this semester, we had a election for what is called the class rep. Basically, I'm a TA. So I'm sort of like the liaison from the professor to the students. So I think one of the biggest issues I've heard tonight and all semester working with these students is the lack of advocacy for homeless, for the arts, for different programs that don't get a lot of traction. And one of my passions is advocacy for young people, especially our young voters. A lot of people are voting for the first time. And of course that happens every election cycle, but in this election cycle there's such a fire in people because we really want change. And so what I would implore you to do is reach out to these young people who are just discovering that they have an interest in politics, interest in their communities and the governance of their communities. A lot of people don't know about City Hall or City Council, that we have meetings and there's a venue for them to share their ideas and concerns. And one of the things I've learned most throughout this semester working with these just dynamite students is we want to know so much, and we want to learn, we want to help, we want to get out there and get our hands dirty. I mean, a couple of students got commissioned for art projects tonight, and I think that's just outstanding. JFK exhorted us all to not ask what the country could do for us, but what we could do for our country. So we're asking you, help us help you, give us the opportunities to learn and figure out how we can get involved in the communities. And just help us figure out what we don't know, because a lot of students don't know what they don't know until they know it. And we just need so much help, especially from just such a dynamite council and city administration. You guys are doing such a bang-up job, like everybody here has said. So I think that's what I would ask for, and I thank you for your candor. Thank you.
What did you think of the video?
Careful now. I mean,
well,
you're in the running.
Keep in mind, there's a reason I sit up here and he sits down there.
Yeah, you know what? I thank you for the question. And I would like to say that there were several points in the videos where I thought, wow, this is very interesting. And thank you. And your creativity and your passion for videos are just very inspiring. So, thank you.
Mike.
Yes.
One of the things I've observed in the last 8 years, because I do think we have something different going on here, is how local governments evolved, at least on the West Coast, was to exclude the community.
Right.
And, the staff and the council, and actually exclude the council too. I mean, sure, they acted like they were engaged, but it was really the staff that ran the city. And you folks were a pain in the butt at the end of the day. Sure, it was nice to have you involved, but then all of a sudden you wanted to have some real power. Right. And that's not these folks, but believe me, that's not these folks. And so we ended up with, 5 people running the council and 5 people on the planning commission because the law said you had to have them. If the law didn't say you had to have them, we wouldn't have had them, I don't think. Sure. And that's really, it just sunk in real tight to avoid problems. So now what we were attempting to do is to totally reverse that and go back to a fully engaged community with the recognition that if I want you to be engaged, we got to give you the power to do whatever you've signed on to do, right? So in answer to your question, we need you guys to come up with ideas of how you can be engaged within the city in a productive, meaningful way, and we'll provide the avenue. And to me, that's a pretty cool thing to provide, which is the ability to create in a whole city to help you and guide you do that. But it's always bothered me that the college is over there and we're over here, and you got this incredible pool of talent that, because, quite frankly, you are a pain in the butt. But
I can see that point.
But, I came from AV College. I don't have a high school education. AV College opened all the doors for me, so I've been eternally grateful to them. And the more you came up with a program to be engaged in your city that was self-perpetuating, you would have all of the folks here 100% behind you. Excellent. What it's worth. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Norman Early.
Hello, everybody. My name is Norman Early. I'm part of the political science class and also criminal justice, like Tony Dudley. I'm actually study law under Eugene Siegel. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but it's really opened my mind. And pretty much, I'm here to ask a question. Not sure if it's for the Criminal Justice Commission or for everyone as a whole. But my question was, as the city population grows, what steps will law enforcement take to build good communication and relations with the community in order to keep crime rates low and create a positive attitude towards law enforcement? I'm seeing a lot lately about videos and everything on Facebook, just within the city of Lancaster. Just a lot of stuff that you haven't really seen in the past before. And I'm a law guy. I'm all for law and order. And it's just kind of upsetting, because I want to take that path to eventually do something like this and be a lawyer. But it's just upsetting that my generation, or maybe the generation below me, it just has complete disregard for law enforcement. And when you see police brutality videos with everyone saying, yeah, that's what he gets, it really upsets me. But I want to know how we're going to overcome that within this city as the population grows bigger and as it gets more diverse. And I also want to applaud up here because it's very diverse up here. You have women and men. No, you have black.
And we got Marvin.
No, this is my first council meeting, and I was just really shocked. I was kind of scared coming here, but it's so diverse. You have black, white, brown, old, young.
Is he the old one you're talking about?
Shh. No, but it was just my question was, like, how are we gonna set that positive example for the youth and make them respect law enforcement a lot more. I know we're suburbs of Los Angeles, and I know how Los Angeles is turning out, and I just don't want that to happen here.
Well, that's the question, isn't it? My experience with the Lancaster Sheriff's Department is they are different. I mean, I don't see the abuses to the extent that I see elsewhere. Now, it's when you're understaffed and you have the challenges they have, sometimes I think they react quicker than maybe they would if they weren't, if backup wasn't so far away. You know what I mean? I mean, they have very unique challenges here. And my philosophy has been, if mistakes are made, I'm backing the deputies. Primarily because the enormity of the task facing them and what occurs to them when they make the wrong choice. The microscope they're put under and the fear their family experiences, is Daddy going to have a job next week? The pressure of it is what nobody else sees. And what I see is an imbalance in how we look at when these different situations develop. And what I also see is we throw them in the same pile. I mean, there's a lot of those videos I see that, from a lawyer's point of view, is a perfectly good shoot. But everybody's in an uproar because the week before, a situation like in Baltimore occurred where they throw them in a van with a deliberate intent of hurting them. It also, I think local deputies end up taking the rap for things that happen clear across the country. And, it seems to me the first step is to develop the communication lines so that you can tell the difference. What's happening in Baltimore is not happening in Lancaster. Now, is it perfect here in Lancaster? Of course not. As soon as we get a full contingent of deputies that we're supposed to have, that we pay for, I think that might change. But the problems that I've been able to isolate are because of understaffing for the most part. And so let's deal with that first, and then deal with, and it does little good to raise hell because something bad happened. What we should be looking at is what could have prevented it in the first place. Personally, I think that everyone in this town has the absolute right to walk out of their house at any time of the day or night, walk anywhere in the city they want to go, and be perfectly safe. And if that means we step on some people who want to hurt you, we step on them. So let's be clear about that, what we're trading off here. If it were up to me, it would be harsher in many respects, softer in other respects. But let's not assume that we should be following the rest of the country, because that's not what we're growing here. We're growing something much different. All right?
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. I would implore you to come to the Criminal Justice Commission meetings. They're the second Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock. You will see how crime and crime prevention and things of that nature are looked at from the city's perspective. You'll have a room full of people bringing that information to you, the city attorney's office, the sheriffs. I think you'll get a very good perspective on what's happening, what's being done, the ideas that are bantered around to try to tamp down things that are happening or improve relations with the community. There's also a couple of other things that's going on within the city itself. There's the Lancaster Sheriff Station Community Advisory Committee. I'm also a member of that. Its sole purpose is community outreach, is to bring things. Something happens in the city, their whole job is to be your point of contact or your advocate between the sheriffs and the community in order to get the right story. And then there's the Community Academy, which is a very, very enlightening and eye-opening experience. You get firsthand knowledge. You get first sight of all the functions of the sheriff's department. We're talking from the administrative to the gang unit to the purpose and operation of leaps, the whole gamut. The next time you see an advertise, and it's usually advertised in the paper, or you could contact the public information officer at the sheriff's station, either Palmdale or Lancaster, to get the information on it. I think you would be very, very interested in that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Leland Wood.
Yes, Mayor Paris. Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm a representative of the homeless community. I've been a resident in Lancaster for 48 years. I'm wanting to know what the city's position is on the shelter. As far as, are we going to build a new shelter? Are we going to, that will house more people? Because currently the Lancaster shelter houses 30 females and 15 men. And
certainly what's on the books is much bigger than that. I think the plan is 400 beds ultimately. So the answer to your question, yeah, it's going to be bigger. It's going to be managed differently.
Okay.
And I think we're going to give priority to people with children. In some form or another, and veterans.
Okay.
And residents.
Yeah, in residents, you actually apply.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been in Lancaster for 48 years, like I said, and I'm also disabled.
Okay.
which,
We're also doing some things with a company out of China, two companies actually. One is with 3D printing of the house, which is kind of an interesting thing. We can get them up running quickly. There's going to be some innovative things going on.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having the courage to come. It's pretty cool. Christian Franco? Okay, Christian, we're moving along in the program. People are getting a little bored, so you have to be riveting. Riveting.
Hello, my name is Christian Franco. The more nervous I get, the more formal I become. So I would like to thank the council for its approachability and its openness to ideas. I thought it was going to be strict in thought and decorum. What I wanted to ask today was your thought on the fairness of some water taxes. Now, I live in Rosemont. I recently moved back with my parents, and my mom brought up some taxes or bills, I don't know how to call them, about how everybody in Rosemont was being taxed, even the people with their own private water wells. And I wanted to know your thought on the fairness of it.
Well, it's Rosemont, so I really don't have any ability to affect it. So
Rosemont and Lancaster are pretty intrinsic to each other. I don't know if the same tax.
It isn't.
It doesn't? Okay.
It isn't. But unfortunately, Lancaster has its own problems in that we're tied to L.A. Water District rather than having our own, local control of it, which is problematic.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know that the water that we're paying tax for comes through Palmdale, so I'm pretty sure it is from.
I don't think that would be accurate because it's flowing the wrong way.
I'm sorry. I listened to my mom about this, and I kind of zone out a little bit when she talks.
It's probably AVAC, isn't it? Isn't it AVAC that does Rosemont?
It would be AVAC.
Yeah.
AVAC? Okay.
And Ron. And, AVAC water is kind of interesting because it goes through the water banks in Kern County that the oil companies inject toxic waste into.
Okay.
Thought I'd throw that out for you. So not only are they charging you more for it, it's toxic.
Okay.
To a little bit.
This is definitely
just
something I have to look into more because we have our own private well. We shouldn't be taxed for water.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree.
that we aren't using.
As these problems get worse and worse, the unfairness of how they spread the cost is going to get worse and worse. And depending on who's involved and how educated they are when they get involved, this council works an enormous amount of time just figuring out what's going on, just educating themselves. Most councils that I see don't do that. They just leave it to staff, and then, the voters get, well, you know what they get. I wish I could help you. If you're in Lancaster, I could help you.
Okay.
See, I'd yell at them, and they'd fix it.
Well, once again, I thank you for your approachability.
Okay, thank you. That was Christian, right? You're Christian, right?
Yes.
Okay. You're in the consider for the prize column. Okay. Georgia Beretta Young. She's over here. And we have 3 more students, right?
Hello, Mark. How are
2
you?
more students.
Pretty good.
How are you doing? Pull yourself up. Okay.
No, I prefer to stand. Thank you.
Hey, I love
Good
your
afternoon.
shirt. Stay back. I'm allergic to stupid.
Yeah, I wore it just for all of you.
Wasn't
hello
that
to the
nice?
audience as
Oh,
well.
and we were having such a good time.
Okay, hold up. In regards to your statements on homelessness and your issues with LASHA,
Yeah.
if you go back in your archives, I gave a speech about 6 years ago.
I remember
to do
that.
with homelessness. All your quotes are there. They're within the the WIC codes. You can also use California Constitution, Article 1, Section 1, 2006. All people are by nature free and have inalienable rights. Some of these rights include safety. So you can use that against them to help provide your housing for your homelessness. But I am in my wheelchair today to not only discuss wheelchair inaccessibility, but planning. So I'm going to look right at the planning commissioner, and I'd like you to take notice of the dirt all over my wheelchair, on the bottom, all over the sides. At K8 and 10th Street, we have started to put in a curb, and it's a bicycle lane all the way through to Sierra Highway and K. And there was no notification when construction will begin, when it'll end, that the fact that the sidewalk is going to be torn out by a tractor. These are not off-road vehicles. They are not to be driven in the dirt. Now, we have elderly people living right next to the bowling alley on Sierra Highway. I dig these people out of the dirt constantly. You have no pavement on the west side of the street. I have difficulties with huge telephone poles by the Toys R Us that I can't even walk past it. I have pictures of my shoe wedged against the curb there. Why we can't take that over under eminent domain and widen that sidewalk, I don't know. But I have veterans, and I want my veterans treated better, and a lot of them are in wheelchairs, and that is one of their spots where they get stuck. Another one of my issues is the huge drainage ditch on the entrance to the South 14 freeway between Valley Central Way and 20th Street. There's a 5-foot ditch. There's pressed concrete. There's no crosswalk. There's no soft shoulder. And there's no way to avoid being hit by a car. On a bicycle, a pedestrian. I'm having difficulty accessing county offices from the southeast and southwest corners of Avenue K and Sierra Highway. It is all in the dirt. It's not wheelchair accessible. It has big holes where they've removed electricity. I thought you would like to know. I brought you what a wheelchair can do and what it can't do, supposedly. In addition, I find several of these to be constitutional violations. And to exploit my point, yes, I hear that.
Thank you.
You have
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Marvin, she wore that shirt for you. Okay. Mark Potter.
Yeah. How'd she like to be?
What?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council members. My name is Mark Potter, and I live out near Lake LA. First off, I wanted to say, do you know what stage fright is? It's anxiety, and anxiety is your body trying to help you.
No.
I swear, I'm in communications class. That's what it says in my textbook. So I'm a student at Antelope Valley College, and I'm majoring in political science. I aspire to be of great influence in our democracy along our journey, perhaps by practicing constitutional law or perhaps as a political scientist. I am very passionate about civil and moral issues facing our society. My professor, Amaka Dawn, is running for the Democratic Party County Committee. She encourages not only political participation, but political activism as well. I'd like to commend each of the council members for their service to our community. It is a wonderful thing to witness the crime rates being reduced. as well as seeing Lancaster lead the state in alternative solar energy. I'd also like to thank the council for engaging its citizenry in discussion and allowing me to speak with you today. Today, I hope that the council members could briefly introduce themselves and include at least one or more critical steps in your lives that led to your current position. Basically, what advice would you give to young people that want to engage in political life today? Thank you.
Yeah, make us on the spot. Make our heart beat fast. Yeah. Well, who wants to start?
I'll start. My name is Marvin Christ. I was born and raised here, so I saw the shape of where the valley was going, the entire valley, and I thought that I could lend my resources to help the valley and to help it move forward.
I'm number two.
You're number two.
Okay, I can be number two. Hi, my name is Ken Mann. I haven't been here quite as long as Marvin has.
But he is older than I am.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for noting that.
I did grow up here, so in my entire time here in Lancaster, and how I got involved in politics was started off as a business person, was appointed to the Planning Commission and sat on the Planning Commission for 16 years, I believe. So many times the chairman. And I guess it was just an elevation, moving from Planning Commission, natural move, to making bigger decisions as a city council member.
I'm Raj Mali. I've been here, I was born in India, and I've been here for the last 26 years. And I started as a volunteer with a lot of different organizations. But 8 years ago, Mayor Paris appointed me for Planning Commission, and that's where I started. Today I'm a council member. What I suggest, you know what my thing was giving back to the community. Whatever we can do to be there, volunteer, whatever we can do, time, money, whatever. But giving back to the community was my main thing. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What, Planning Commission gets off?
He didn't ask them. You're next.
What was your question?
What advice would you give to young people that would like to engage in political life today?
I think the most important thing for somebody who wants to get involved in the decision-making process, I mean, that's really what it is we make decisions, is that you have an iron ass. And seriously. And what I mean by that is the people who really do this well are the ones that get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they're constantly studying their butt off. And you need that iron ass because you got to sit in that chair and study.
It's not very comfortable.
Right. And you know, like the really good political leaders are also the most informed political leaders. The really innovative leaders are the ones that are the most educated in regards to different innovative things that are going on. I remember one time a story about Bill Clinton, talking to somebody, I think it was a transportation issue, and just out of the blue he goes, did you see what they're doing in Chile? Because he was up at 2 o'clock, he did it the other way, he stayed up really late. Bush was one who got up really early. And, like Bush liked to play the dummy, but Bush was actually incredibly bright. And but they're constant looking into issues and knowing more about it than anyone else. It's really hard work. The cities that don't do that, they end up in trouble really quickly. I was doing a white paper on the comparative education values of the different, the education of the different cities in LA County compared to their the net worth of the city, and how well they were doing, and it tracked perfectly. The more educated the council, the better their economic standing was, their bond rating was, all of that stuff. I don't think it requires formal education, but I do think it requires the willingness to put in the time. You all are students. You want to know what the greatest commonality for people in college and universities with A's are? Anybody know? Kids who get up at 6 o'clock. The kids who are out of bed at 6 a.m. are more likely to have A's than anyone else. And it's a commonality they all share. You want B's? Get up at 7. Everybody else, 8 or after. It really is one of those simple nudge factors that come into play, and I think it's true with what we do. Otherwise, you let Mark decide, and you sure as hell don't want him to decide what movie you're going to watch.
I was enjoying it up till then.
You're Mark, right?
Yes.
I love the tie.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for all your responses. Have a great evening, and again, thank you for letting me ask you such hard questions.
Thank you. Erica Lopez. Erica left. Oh, she wanted to yell at me about Walmart anyway. Fran, I saved you for last. And then we will announce the winner.
Again, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you guys for coming. You are an inspiration. I also want to thank you, Mayor, for your consideration for me for access coming. Because you asked me if I had to go home at 6:30, whatever, and I appreciate your interest in me. Thank you. I come with good tidings. Let's see, where do I start? My first number is, I went to your celebration for choice.
I couldn't read it. What is it?
I can't see anything.
I was glad there was something on.
So what did it say?
I don't know.
Fran, what does it say?
You can't see it? Oh, I can't. Wait, let me move. I got to move. It's my T-shirt that I got from Choice Energy.
Nice. Lovely.
Hey, all right.
And like I stated last month, I made money on it, so it works out great. So the second thing is, on the 14th, May 14th, I went to the fire station for their open house, and it was wonderful. I got so much inspiration out of it. Real quick, I know I got 3 minutes, but I've got more other things. Anyway, the thing that got me the most, which brought me back when my children were small, and we used to take them to these type of affairs. And I saw a lot of young families, young parents with their little ones, and it was great to see how they reacted and what they were into. That was the fire station. Then next up on the 19th, I went to the Public Works open house. And that again, too, I learned a lot. Plus, I learned some things for myself personally for my house that they helped me with. And that was very informative. And it was a very good program. Both of these. Well, everything I'm going to speak of is great. The 21st, I went to the library. They were honoring the female veterans. And I want to say that because we don't, I shouldn't say we don't. I said we haven't given enough emphasis or thought. No, that's not right either. Anyway, giving our female veterans more honors that they deserve. And when the talks that they gave, a lot of them have gone through a lot of personal problems, as you know. But that was very informative, very good. After that, I got in my little, well, I still was in this thing. I sped over to the sheriff's barbecue and had me a hot dog. I was only supposed to stay for 10 minutes because my daughter, my youngest daughter, who turned 36, that's my baby, they were going to come and take me out for lunch for Mother's Day. So I only had like 15, 20 minutes.
So you ate a hot dog first?
Yes, I had to have a hot dog. Anyway, and that was very good, and I enjoyed it. But all in all, like you all know, I enjoy coming here because you have helped me to do, and like these youngsters are asking, what could you do for your community? Get involved. You don't have to be a politician. Just get involved and help where you can. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now comes the hard part. We had Mark. Mark was pretty good, wasn't he? Yeah. I mean, had a lot of courage. Christian, what do you think?
He was very honest.
Yes.
Christian, whoever told you honesty was a virtue? Hey, you guys want to know the 3 keys to persuasion? And it's really robust science after, decades of research. The first thing is you have to be the authority in the room. People have to perceive that you know what you're talking about. So that's where the 4 o'clock in the morning comes in. The second part is you have to be likable. Now, likability is a skill. It's how you stand, your voice, how you'll use your hands, all of that stuff. And then the third part is you have to be trustworthy. The moment you violate the trust, you lose the other 2. But those are the 3 components. And so, before you ever go into a room where you're going to be persuading people, make sure you know what you're talking about. That's where the preparation comes in. And we saw 2 people in a wheelchair. One person came up, the first thing out of her mouth was toxic, and she was angry. And she certainly didn't persuade any of us. I mean, I turned her mic off. And learned this, and because I wish I had learned it 30 years ago. People will always turn away from anger. It's the way we're designed, And look how Fran comes up, She makes us smile, and she gets whatever she wants. It's amazing. And so you want to keep that, regardless of the issue, regardless of how pissed off you might be about something. If you want to change something, you have to leave that at the door, because any of it that creeps in, I mean, you end up on your own, and none of us can accomplish anything on our own, for what it's worth. Now, Sarah, I'm a little biased towards Sarah because we share the same cause, a little bias there. And then Mariana. Look, you guys missed it. She actually batted her eyes. It was perfect. So, $250 goes to, what was your name? The self-appointed leader? Yeah. Michael. What was your name?
Mike Chambers.
Okay, you get $250 to throw a party for the class. What?
I should say, we have a sort of ragtag party planned for this coming Tuesday, end of the year party, and you just kicked it up a whole notch.
Yes, you did.
But no drinking.
No.
It's an 8 a.m. class.
It's an 8 a.m. class. No way.
If you're going to be in college and you drink, you can only do it on Saturday night. And there's a very good reason for this. Or Sunday night, too, I guess. It's because all your long-term memory, it transfers while you're asleep into your hippocampus. And if you drink, it disrupts that pattern, for what it's worth. So if you go out drinking Friday night, anything you learned on Friday day, you're going to get about 10% of it, just for what it's worth. Didn't change my kids' behavior either. Okay, so we have the 3 artists, right? Can you work collectively together? Do your skill sets come together?
It's possible.
Well, tell me.
Yes.
Okay. You get $750 to work with Andy on some public art project of your choice. Fair enough? Is that enough? And the lesson to be learned from this, it's really good to have an iron ass. When you get old, you get to give a lot of stuff away. All right, thank you.
Make it clear it's your money.
What?
You need to make it clear it's your money. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's my money, not the city's money, just so we're clear on that. Marvin's afraid that, they're going to
Just making it clear.
I had a great time. I hope you had a great time. Come back, come up with some great ideas. This is a great city to be in because you really do have the opportunity to do something that is productive, something that's world-changing. That's what we're looking for, is making the world a better place and redefine how a city is done. All right? Thank you. And see Mr. Spielberg over here about picking up the money, okay? Okay.
Mark Spielberg.
Do we have any lawsuits we got to talk about? We do. Okay. The City Council will now move to closed session to discuss closed session items 1 through 7. Good night. Drive safe.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you very much.
Why do you talk to a deaf guy? There's a group picture on the website, or get one from Joe. He'll give you of all the council. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you missed that. Yeah, that was the thing.
What do you want to do? Give us a picture. Do a picture. Raj, we're going to do a picture. Oh, okay. Sure.
Oh, really?
You went down here? Yes, sir. I don't have a check, but I think I can.
Sorry.
See if I have any money.
Yeah.
We shouldn't tell her anything. Leave it in her paper. No, if we don't, she'll never read the paper. So.
Our department, no, nothing. That's when you're in the lots, which is more parks. So they we don't have anything.
Little faster you get there.
So
check that out.
$200
Yeah.
I actually have a report. Use my jazz hands for my report. Yes.
Okay. Before we start, I think I should admonish Marvin that this is serious meetings. We should be.
Remember that trustworthy quote you made earlier?
All right. We're back. City Attorney.
In closed session, the City Council took up one item of anticipated litigation, consideration of initiation of litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9D4, and authorized the initiation of litigation under the Public Utilities Commission against Southern California Edison. No further reportable action.
Thank you. The City Council meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, June 10th, 2016 at 5 p.m. My wife, Carol, has directed me to advise everyone she is forming the Republicans for Hillary Committee. Not my doing, but I do what she tells me. Carol, my day is done. I'm coming home.